This is Silph Radio, a Pokemon-centered podcast. I'm your host, Nathan K. With me today...
What do you say? It's Craig Hey Lewis.
And each episode of Silph Radio, we discuss a different aspect of the Pokemon universe and associated franchise.
Surprisingly, it takes forever to scrape the bottom of the barrel, and we're not even close.
Not even close.
Yeah, for real. You can make an ongoing series, surprisingly, about fucking anything nowadays.
I could make a fucking ongoing series about Jurassic Park, and there are like 4 of them already out.
Yeah, like you could just got to start getting creative, I guess.
Yeah, we haven't even begun. The bottom of the barrel is not even visible. It's very far away. Very far away.
This cask is still very much filled to the brim with mead.
There's so much to talk about. We want to make sure you know this is a not safe for work podcast. We curse, we make inappropriate jokes.
I mean, I guess it depends on where you work.
It depends on where you work.
Also,
yes.
If you're wearing headphones, who the fuck cares?
Team Rocket, you guys are good.
Yeah. If you have a henchman, they probably don't care if you're listening to curse words.
You might, if you have henchmen, you might be a primary antagonist.
But you build power from having numbers.
Today on the podcast, Craig suggested...
You're welcome, by the way.
A topic that was bound to happen sooner or later. I mean, somebody was bound to suggest it.
Yeah, and
Sorry, I had to just cut you down just because of the way you responded.
No, because we have to get on top of it because I haven't seen many other people talking about this yet, and it's still pretty fresh. And it is amazing.
Pokemon Generations is, of course, what we're talking about, but we're not talking about all of it today.
No. There's a lot. Like you said, we're still sipping the mead from the top of the cask.
This is going to be a 3-part episode. Now, we're not doing like parts 1, 2, and 3 in a row. I don't know when we're going to come back and do the next few parts.
Yeah, when we got time.
I don't think it's important that we do them sequentially. Just like the Electric Tale of Pikachu comics, I don't think it's important that we do them all in a row because if you're into Pokemon, you remember Gen 1 of Pokemon and Season 1 of the Pokemon anime.
Yeah.
So who cares? And there are 18 episodes of Pokemon Generations.
Released by the Pokemon Company on the official Pokemon YouTube channel.
Yeah, so you can go watch them for free.
You can go watch them all for free, and I would highly recommend it.
Yeah, especially if you haven't seen them yet, go check them out. It'll take, 15 minutes to watch all the ones we're going to talk about today.
Yeah,
and
3 to 4 minutes a pop.
And it works out perfectly because the first 6 cover the first 2 generations of Pokemon.
Yeah,
and
very
then
strange.
From 7, it starts in with Ruby and Sapphire. So today, we're going to be looking at the Kanto and Johto episodes.
For the most part, though, because the first episode is a bit of...
the whole
amalgamation.
It covers the whole series, but Johto and Kanto have always been more closely related than any of the other regions.
So Johto was gold and silver, right? And that is basically...
that was your first game, right?
Yes.
Well, Heart Gold, Soul Silver.
Heart Gold. So the re-release was my first Pokemon game. And it's basically based off of Japan.
All of the first 4 regions, I believe, is it 4 or 5, are based off different districts of Japan.
Oh, okay.
That
so Kanto is also Japan.
Well, Kanto is actually a region in Japan in real life.
A real regional.
There's a real place called Kanto.
The
There's
county
no Lavender
of
Town.
the county of Kanto, Japan. Yeah.
But yeah, it didn't become clear until later. But the first 4 or 5 generations are all modeled after different areas of Japan, and if you put them together, they actually look like a map of Japan.
That's insane. I didn't know that. And then the 5th one, which is black and white.
Unova was United States of America.
Oh, God. You tried tricking us, you silly bastards at Game Freak.
And then Kalos is France.
Kalos was X and Y, right?
Yes.
That makes sense. Kalos is France. Yeah, because it looked like the Luminous Tower, was it?
And
it looked like the Eiffel Tower?
I don't know what Alola is supposed to be. I don't know. Maybe Jesus. Iceland or
Newfoundland.
Canada? I'm going to go with Canada.
I was actually thinking Australia.
I wonder how many...
Because it's like an island nation. You know?
I wonder how many emails we're going to get about this. So...
You idiot!
We might as well hustle right into our topic. I wanna paint a picture for you. Imagine this. Imagine you get up one morning, you pull out your smartphone or you log on to your HP Pavilion laptop and you fire up the old Facebook and you're
You forgot about, like, if you wanted to, you could have just grabbed your Air iPad too.
You type in your AOL password, you turn the volume down while it does that annoying...
That doesn't work. That's a myth.
And
it's still loud.
You got your 15 hours free. You just installed the disc.
You have 4 floppies just like on standby for the next 15 hours free.
And you see that the Pokemon Company has released a new trailer for a new anime.
What?
Based on Pokemon.
What?
You fire up the trailer, and it's showing this beautiful animation. Every generation has its own stories.
So wait, it's basically using the same animation as Pokemon Origins.
Correct. The movie that was based on the video games.
Well, it was in like a 6-episode thing that was one movie. I don't know.
Yeah, and it condensed the story of the games to a 6-part miniseries. So you start watching this trailer, and you're just like, oh my god, there's blue, there's red. There's fucking Palkia and Dialga, and what the fuck is going on?
Inspector.
This is gonna be so dope. They're finally making it into a series.
Lance and Dragonite?
You get to the end of the trailer and it's like a mini series of 2 to 4 minute shorts. And
oh my god. What? Why? Why only mini?
You deflate.
A little bit. Only a little bit though, because it's still gonna happen. You're still gonna get something.
Take heed though, Pokemon Company. We want
more.
A Pokemon, and just give us a Pokemon anime.
Like
that
this,
one with Ash doesn't count.
No. Make one and start it up and do all the different regions and make a good fucking excuse for why he's not using the same Pokemon from Gen 1 to Gen 2 and keep Red as the protagonist.
Interesting. Okay. I mean, the way the manga did it was they moved to gold when they got to gold and silver, and then red and green or blue in the United States came back when they got to the Fire Red, Leaf Green remakes, and then they reintroduced themselves into the storyline.
In the manga, like when the remakes came out and the re-releases, they went back to that region?
Well, I actually haven't read that far yet, so I don't want to speak too concretely on it, but I know that Red and Blue come back older, more progressed, and they reintroduce themselves into the storyline
as like trainers who listen, I'm a BA trainer right now, and
it, I don't care. Go your own way. Just create a brand new Pokemon show that spans regions. I want to say spans generations, but
the region. You can call it another Pokemon game. Thank you, Stevie Nicks.
Yes, I love Pseudo-Udo Mac. It's one of my favorite bands.
Pseudo-Udo. That's just fun to say. It's just, all right. But no, to add on to what you were saying about this, yes, we want a series. We want a series with this kind of love, care, and detail. It would even be cool.
What if they just started it up now and they were like, you know what? It takes place after the Pokemon games, and Red is already the champion or the advanced trainer, and
start with it. Start a new story if you want.
Just do a new story. That would be cool. Like whatever you want to do, just give us something for us that's not for the little kids. Like it's cool that you got a show for the little kids because
keep that running, fine. But you can make money doing both.
Indoctrinate them young, but like
yeah. But then they'll eventually get to a point where they're going to stop watching your show.
And you need
them to switch to a new show.
Otherwise, they're going to go one of two ways. They're either going to abandon Pokemon or they're going to become one of those fanfic reader fans. So, let's dive in, shall we? Now, Craig, you did start with Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Did you beat the game?
Yes.
Awesome. So
I didn't beat post-game stuff, though, but I beat the game.
Okay, so you have a basic familiarity with the storyline. Red and Blue, though, the original...
Never actually played them.
So you don't really know much of the touchstones?
I know the basic story based on, like, I've watched completionist videos on... That was an amazing completionist episode, by the way, Red, Blue, and Yellow.
Okay.
like I have seen tons of other ancillary shit that basically details the game. I know enough.
You watched
about
the
story.
cartoon, right?
I've watched the first 2 seasons of the Pokemon, whatever is on Netflix.
Just for my sake, and I don't want you to feel any pressure. I don't want you to feel like there's a wrong or right answer.
I've never been pressured by you before in my life.
Totally honest, totally open. We're gonna do some word recognition type thing. Just basically whether or not you could tell me what it is. Say yes or no. And just so I have an idea for how familiar
we're doing this now on air live?
Yeah, on air live. Yeah. Okay. So, Koga.
Gym leader.
Viridian City.
Where Giovanni's the gym leader.
Okay. Pokemon Tower.
Yeah, that's in Lavender City, right?
Yep, Lavender Town.
Okay, the ghost tower.
Lavender Town, you failed.
Lavender Town, fuck.
Noob over here, guys. Noob alert.
See, I know. Okay, are we going to continue? Do you want to do this? Shitty Pokemon. Fuck the ground types, except for Sand Slash.
Bill.
He has the PC.
The Warden.
Wait, is this Green Mile?
Okay, so there's one reference. That's okay. That's a pretty obscure one. All right.
The Warden, huh? We go to Pokemon jail?
Safari Zone.
Oh, the Game Warden. Okay, yeah. I played in Safari Zones, just not on Red and Blue.
All right, no, that's cool. It seems like you're pretty familiar with Gen 1, so that's good to hear. But something you will never know, Craig, is the nostalgia I feel, and everyone in my boat feels when they watch the opening minute to this fucking episode.
See, because I have seen that as an adult, and I do not understand the nostalgia you get from it, because
it opens up with the Game Boy intro to the game.
What is Game Boy? 4 bits?
It says ding, Nintendo,
and then it shows Nidoran.
It says copyright Game Creatures Freak Inc.
Game Creature Freak Inc.
and then Nidoran versus Gengar, which
is the red version, right?
Yeah, you see that opening up your game, their little sprites animated fighting each other. It fades out. It says Pokemon. You see Red. You see Charmander.
Yeah, and then it goes to like new game continue, and you're still watching this. Me, like I said, I didn't play it, but I had Game Boy. I played Game Boy games. I know how the Game Boy era worked. Idea. So like I still had a nostalgic feeling of this, as if they are recreating. I'm like, oh, are they doing this episode in Game Boy fashion? And it goes to new game or continue. And it goes to continue.
And you start up in Viridian Forest, and just the fucking nostalgia doesn't stop for so many reasons. Like, first of all, what you recognize, the old games starting up, and that you can instantly know, like, oh, I know this is giving them nostalgia. And that's the point.
It could have been Pokemon. It could have been fucking Bill and Ted Game Boy game. It's the same thing. You
start in Viridian Forest, and my first experience with Pokemon, was I went home sick from school, went to Blockbuster on the way home, and picked up the new Nintendo Power, which had Yoshi's story on the cover and had a little blurb about Pokemon on the inside. That was my first exposure. This was like 2 years, a year and a half before it came out. Then, a little while before it came out, they started doing Pokemon Power, and I got that Nintendo Power that had that inside it when we were camping.
Was that like a sublet of Nintendo Power, or was that a part of Nintendo Power?
It was like the little, when you get previews, you get a little Marvel previews inside it. They would have the little Pokemon Power inside it.
So this is inside a Nintendo Power.
And basically, Pokemon Power, if you collected them all, they would make a strategy guide for the Pokemon Red and Blue versions. And then at the end, they would have a little comic book made from scenes from the cartoon. And it was my first introduction to Pokemon. That was really my first introduction, because before I had just seen a picture of Charizard and Blastoise in Pokemon Stadium fighting each other. It was originally an arcade game in Japan. And a screenshot of like your character walking around in a town, and that was it. And a picture of Pikachu.
Okay.
That was it. Now I got this Pokemon Power, and I'm getting a little bit. Like, now I know Bulbasaur, Charmander, Squirtle, Pidgey, Rattata, and then a bunch of Pokemon that they show, but they don't identify. Like, Alakazam was shown in the back of the issue, and I was like, who is that dude? And like,
Alakazam's the dude, though.
And the internet wasn't accessible at this time to me, except at school, and this was the summer.
And now a lot of people listening now might not understand because they only know a time with the internet.
And even when the internet was accessible, what was available in Japan was barely accessible on the internet. So like,
right.
I was like, oh man, I can't wait to learn what that weird goat with the spoons is. And like
that weird goat with the spoons.
I was telling all my friends, I'm like, guys, this Pokemon game looks dope. And they're like, oh, I don't know. It looks okay.
Little did you know you can only get them by trading.
Then the show came out like a couple weeks before the game came out. The game came out. I don't have money to buy the game. I'm a little kid. My mom does not just buy me video games when it's not Christmas or my
because
birthday.
mom's a dick sometimes.
My friend Pat's mom, though, she's more willing to spend money on her kids like that frivolously. So she gets Pat the game like the day after it comes out.
But still not the day it came out, so she's still slacking.
Pat calls me up. He's like, dude, I got Pokemon. I'm like, I'm grabbing my Super Game Boy. Super Game Boy was the cartridge that you plug into your Super Nintendo so you can play Game Boy games on the TV. Bring it down. We start playing the same file together. And I remember his little sister there who had watched. She saw the show and she's like, catch a Pikachu. Why didn't you have a Pikachu?
A Pikachu?
A Pikachu. I misspelled.
Catch a Pikachu. No, I want this to be little girls saying this. Catch a Pikachu. Pikachu, my favorite.
Yeah, that's basically it. And he's like, I can't until I find one. And then we got to Viridian Forest.
No, but you got to find the Pikachu.
The last thing that happened before I went home that day was us catching a Pikachu in Viridian Forest.
Oh, so that... And now this brings it back to the actual episode where it sets you up with you are throwing a Pokeball at a freaking Pikachu.
Well, he gets into a battle with one. They actually start the battle off. You see he throws out a Bulbasaur.
Yeah.
Which is important to me because in the game, which everyone knows I consider primary canon, in all of the Ken Sugimori art, Red had the Bulbasaur. Red had the Bulbasaur, Blue had the Charizard, and the girl had the Squirtle.
Ow.
And in the middle of the battle, it's still in the Game Boy animation. Suddenly you see Red's shadow come up after the Pokeball catches the Pikachu.
Right, yeah.
It fades into this
seamless transition to beautiful modern anime.
And Red reaches down and picks up the Pokeball of the Pokemon he just caught.
And then he throws it out
to
battle a Caterpie.
Which is that's what you would do. You got your Pikachu, give it a couple potions, heal it up. Now let's start fucking leveling this dude while we're still here in the forest. There's
me personally, I would still be using my starter because I chose Charizard.
Yeah, but this is nostalgic to that when you're a little kid just waiting to get your hands on the Pikachu. Pokemon game. Like, yeah, and then you get your Pikachu.
Put Pikachu in. Me as an adult, I'm like, yeah, Charizard will fucking fry that bastard.
So nostalgic, man. And then the next scene, like, isn't as nostalgic for me. The second game is super nostalgic, but this more just is, this is what I picture. It's so beautiful. The way that they capture what the towns and the environments would look like.
Oh, amazing.
While somehow not varying from the design that you see in the Game Boy games is amazing. It looks like, you're like, oh, wow, that looks exactly like the Trailway to the Elite Four looks.
Yeah.
Even though I would have thought that if you made it looking just like it looked in the video game, it would look too simplistic. And you'd have to kind of use
How the hell did you detail this
You'd have
properly?
to use artistic license. Yeah, and it doesn't seem like they used much artistic license. It is exactly how I've always imagined the Pokemon universe. And we see, what is it, Ecruteak City that we see next? And Pikachu, like, electrocutes these whoopers in a stream.
Oh, yeah. It almost seems like it doesn't do anything to them, but like it does.
Goes through like all the generations.
Yeah, this first episode is titled The Adventure because it's the adventure through all the generations with Red and his Pikachu.
Which is very interesting.
Interesting he's stuck with Pikachu.
Well, it's very interesting that instead of focusing on the different protagonists, that it does show that Red did indeed travel through all the different regions.
Right. As would any proper wannabe the best trainer.
Kind of. But Red is top tier, man.
Yeah. So that's why he's doing it, you know. But it's what's great. They put a lot of focus on the Pikachu and the facial expressions Pikachu makes. It's different than Ash's Pikachu, but it still has its own personality.
And I've long said that while I hate the fact that because of the anime, it's understood that Pokemon supposedly say their names, and I hate that, and I imagine Pokemon just make animal noises. I've always said, but Pikachu, I can't imagine Pikachu doing anything other than being like, Pika, Pika, Pikachu.
Yeah,
this
Pikachu.
does it. He's just like, ee.
Yeah. My favorite
Perfect.
bit. My favorite bit was it fighting Vigoroth, and they're fighting against each other, and then they end up snapping the bridge they're on, and the two of them decide they need to just haul ass, forget the fight, let's get to safety.
Scramble to safety, yeah. And they go through the ruins and the Snow Point Temple, and like,
and then legendaries pop out. Oh.
it's just so great, and you see like just all the little details that make the Pokemon world what it is. You don't just go, my Pokemon attacks, your Pokemon attacks. You ran into this fire moth and it shoots a fucking sonic wave at you, and Pikachu uses its tail to like flip up a brick from the floor of the temple so that the sonic wave, he shields himself with the brick and the sonic wave goes around it. And like,
really, this is almost a perfect first episode because it lets you know what you're fucking in for in this series.
It's beautiful.
It's telling you it's going to go into further detail about these different regions, and this is Red's adventure.
I love it. And I love it. I love Red. I love Pikachu. They're fantastic characters. Pikachu's one of the best Pokemon. They display a lot of great Pokemon. Noivern is another one of my favorites of the new characters.
It shows them in the minecart with a Noivern attacking them.
Yes. It's phenomenal. I really, really enjoyed it. And while I'm still a little disappointed that it's not a full-fledged anime, I don't want to let it get off scot-free.
Okay, let's not. But who's to say that maybe this was them testing the waters and now they can take these ideas and flesh them out as their own separate little series.
That's what I'm hoping. What I'm hoping.
From there, we work into episode 2, titled The Chase.
The Chase. The Fast and the... I'm trying to think of a Pokemon. The Fast and the Furret. No, The Chase. This one focuses on my favorite of the criminal organizations, of course.
Team Rocket.
Team Rocket.
This is not my favorite because it's not my first organization I dealt with.
I like it because they're like organized crime, and this is the first instance that really explores that through that lens.
Yeah, basically, it just has... It's about Inspector... What was his name?
He's the Looker.
The Looker.
Or his name, yeah. They call him Looker.
And this is a character who's been in all the games, apparently.
Well, since Platinum. He was introduced in Platinum.
Oh, so he wasn't in Heart Gold or...
yeah, he was in Heart Gold and Soul Silver. That was after Platinum.
That was after Platinum. Oh, so he was in the re-releases, but not like... He wasn't in Red or Gold.
And he wasn't in Fire Red or Leaf Green.
And he wasn't in Fire Red or Leaf Green. Okay, so... But which is interesting, because that means he's still around in this era, the era of Red, because he's investigating
like a detective. Giovanni. He's a detective or a spy or something. And
I think he goes by Inspector.
He works for the International Police, which we know very little about. All our only exposure to them up until this point was just the Looker
Jenny?
character.
No.
Okay. Jenny is a character in the anime, and she's not anything to do with the International Police. She's clearly just
the International Police and the local police are very different.
Yeah.
The local police literally says things like, "Can you come back later? I'm on my lunch break."
So this is our first glimpse at the International Police, and it's cool to see what they are, that they're actually like...
Yeah, it's like Interpol mixed with CIA.
Yeah.
You know, and this guy seems to be one of the heads, and they're going after Giovanni, and they're detailing how he rose to power and what Team Rocket is and how he was the leader of Viridian City Gym.
What they've done, too, to like in their efforts to track him and catch him in the act.
Right. So like this is a very policey episode. Like if you like CSI, you would like this episode.
You see the game corner, which is really cool because you see it as this massive casino with like a gigantic hotel or something.
Yeah. Like they're running an illegal casino, an illegal gambling ring.
And it's so cool because I always imagine the game corner a little smaller, but it's cool to see it as this. Most casinos aren't small. They're big fucking ordeals. You know, they make a lot of money.
Yeah.
And you see the Silph raid too, right?
Oh, yeah. Because basically, it's like they're 2 steps behind Giovanni at all times, almost. They're 2 steps behind Red.
Yeah. Then they get the intel that he was the Viridian City gym leader after Red had beat him.
Yes.
They mentioned that he gave the badge to 2 trainers, so that's
to 2 trainers,
Red and
Blue.
And then they go to break their way into the Viridian City gym. Now, this is really interesting because you would think, from my understanding, that the Viridian City gym would be kind of league property.
So there would be some kind of bureaucratic nonsense stopping them from just going in or getting a normal warrant.
I think, well, maybe that too. But what I was thinking was that they could just go to the league and be like, yo, let us in that gym.
Yeah,
you know,
and then the league's like, if you fill out the proper paperwork.
Well,
so
if they're like,
3 weeks from now,
we're the international police. We've been tracking a major criminal who's responsible for all these crimes that happened in your country, and we've tracked him. He's actually the gym leader there.
The
and
response
I feel like
by them,
Lance would be like, "Oh, word,
okay.
Yo, we got to do this. You're right."
But the response to them would actually, it depends on whether or not you and Phil and John are right in the Pokemon politics episode.
Exactly. Well, this is why it's an ever-evolving thing. So maybe when you set up a gym, it's probably still your property then. He probably built that gym, and it's probably his personal property, and they don't have the legal right to just barge in there, and even the league can't give them that.
Right.
It's a league-sanctioned gym, and the league can disassociate themselves from it.
But it almost seems like they finally got approved for a raid on the Viridian City gym. And what I love about this is that they go through lengths to show you how Pokemon actually fit and are useful to society and are utilized without just battling.
The Magnemite?
The Magnemite unlocks the door. They have Machamp knocking down walls.
Which it must not be league property, because the league would be like, what the fuck, dude? This is our gym. We're going to put a different gym leader here. But see, that's why it's weird, because Blue becomes the gym leader there. So, well, Giovanni disappears, so maybe the league buys his property from the town. I
have a question for you. Is this canon or not? Does Giovanni ever actually return?
There's a post... I think it was something you had to download. It was DLC for Heart Gold and Soul Silver, where you actually get to see the rival encounter Giovanni one last time.
Oh.
But other than that,
he's just gone.
Never happens.
Come on. Make a series about what Giovanni's been doing since he disappeared.
If you're interested to know more, check out episode 10. We talk about all of that in episode 10.
Is that the Team Rocket episode?
It is.
With Justin Addison, right?
That's him.
Yeah.
So they raid the gym. They're knocking down walls. They're trying to track him down.
Oh, so close.
The last place they get to is the battle room where he battles the challengers. And the floor is scorched, I imagine, from
a Charizard
or something. Well,
oh, wait.
Red has Bulbasaur.
So it probably would have been an Arcanine.
Either way, they don't catch him, and then for the last button to the episode, you see Giovanni overlooking Viridian City from a hilltop in the middle of the night. It's beautiful. This is why I want to live in the Pokemon universe.
Oh, no. This is just the way they draw it, Nathan. This isn't the actual real universe. But the way it's drawn is absolutely gorgeous. It's stunning. Top-notch animation.
I love it. And that's pretty much episode 2. Giovanni disappears, and they never catch him.
Nobody knows. Who knows? Nobody knows. So you're like, the first episode was about the whole adventure of Red, and the second episode is about Giovanni. What's the third episode going to be about?
Well, we open up at Indigo Plateau, and we get to see the, I don't know what you'd call it, the lobby before you go to battle the Elite Four.
Oof. And then you see Agatha.
A big statue in the middle and 4 separate staircases. And Agatha.
Oh, God.
Lorelei,
this is so great. Agatha
Bruno.
comes out. She says something. Then Lorelei comes out and says, not going to get to you. I'm going to ice him down first.
And this came out like 2 days after we released our Agatha episode.
Yeah.
So
oh, really?
There's like 3 appearances of Agatha. And we did our Agatha episode. And then 2 days later, they release a 4th appearance, and it's like, God damn, we had so little to work with, and now we would have
had more too. But it's also cool with how kind of on point we are with fucking Pokemon life right now.
Right?
So we release an Agatha episode, and then Agatha comes crushing in this episode.
It's totally in line with everything we said. There's nothing there that contradicts anything.
Yes, because we're awesome.
And they're sitting there preparing to face the trainer who's coming to battle them.
And Bruno doesn't say much. He just grunt. I'm strongman, fighter, karate. And then Lance is like, "All right, guys."
Lance is like, "Show me what you got."
Pretty much.
No, he says that later in the episode. And I can't hear that phrase now and take it seriously.
Yeah, even when he goes, "Show me what you got," all you're hearing is this giant head. He's like,
and then Blue's like, "Get swifty, get swifty." Spoiler alert: it's not Red, it's Blue that's coming to face the Elite Four.
Cocky, arrogant, but god damn it, is he good.
Do you have a favorite Elite Four member of the original Kanto Elite Four?
No, because like I said, I didn't play it.
If you know the character designs, their teams, and their general dispositions, then you know them.
Yeah, I mean, the only one I didn't really know was the Ice Girl.
Lorelei.
Bruno is easy to figure out. Agatha, I knew because I did a Pokemon podcast on it. Lance is fucking Lance. I already know it's fucking Lance. You don't even play the game. You know who Lance is, at least.
I don't know if that's the case.
I do think that's the case. Well, I mean,
I don't think that's
play
the
a
case.
different Pokemon game. As long as you played a Pokemon game,
Okay.
you don't have to play Red to know who Lance is.
I was gonna say if we
That's
ask,
what I meant, I guess.
If we ask a non-Pokemon fan, maybe Professor Oak, but not Lance.
Yeah. Who is Lance? And you're not gonna get. Oh yeah, he's the dude with Dragonite.
From NSYNC is probably we'll get the.
He's done some voice work, right?
Wait, no, the guy from NSYNC or the guy that went to the moon or the guy that rides the bike.
No, yeah, you got Armstrong's and Lance's mixed up. And the guy who has one nut also rides a bike.
Or the guy from Rancid?
Oh, no. You're talking about the medieval weapon.
All right. Enter Blue. We get to watch Blue showdown with each of the Elite Four.
Yeah,
and
Blue is badass. Blue messed up. I loved the view of him fighting the Lapras. He had Alakazam fighting a Lapras.
I feel like he's like a dick hipster. Like he likes.
Yeah, he's very arrogant.
He likes Arcade Fire, but he stopped liking them for like 5 years.
Once they won the Grammy,
he
stopped liking them.
He stopped liking them once they liked the Grammy. But once everybody else stopped liking them.
Once everybody else moved on, he came back.
He started liking them again. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's
cool.
Blue to me.
Yeah. Used to be a fan of the White Stripes. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like Blue is just a dick hipster, is what it feels like. I mean, even the way he dresses, everything, the way he acts, I really do feel like that's.
I mean,
the
he's
case.
one of the people that gives PBR a bad name.
I'm surprised he didn't have a mustache in Sun and Moon.
But god damn it, there's a moment where I'm kind of like, yeah, dude, like your disposition, you're being a cocky asshole, but it's because you know who your goddamn granddaddy is. You know, he's like, I don't want to be anything like him.
That's interesting because Agatha's like, I would have thought since you're Oak's grandson, you'd be filling out the Pokedex. And he's like, don't ever fucking compare me to that old son of a bitch. Fuck.
He's got a chip on his shoulder.
Fuck.
Maybe there was a lot of pressure put on him, probably even earlier in his age, to live up to the expectations.
I never thought Blue had that type of idea about his grandfather.
I did. I thought he was a rejectionist prick.
It makes sense. He's totally like, all right, Gramps, smell you later.
Yeah.
So
even Gary is like has the same kind of connotation.
I don't.
Blue's a better character. I'll give you that. But like I feel like they did a more childish, amateurish version.
I just
with
don't
Gary.
associate Gary with Blue any more than I associate Ash with Red. Like I associate with them.
No, that's fair enough.
In that they're based on the archetypes from the point of character design and that strictly.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel about it.
But I totally see why Blue would be the way he is.
Yeah. Oh, I like it. It makes total sense.
And oh god, when he's talking with Agatha and then she just releases her cane, like she opens up the top of her cane and Gengar like shadow slithery and then pops up into real life. I was like, oh,
that's the one thing that we really should have been able to discuss in the Agatha episode is that apparently, according to this,
her cane,
she keeps the Gengar in the Pokeball on top. She's got like a John Hammond cane, but instead of a mosquito
and amber,
yeah, it's a Pokeball where she keeps her Gengar. So fucking cool.
That was beyond. Well, beyond that is the way Gengar came out. How you see the shadow slide from the Pokeball down the cane through the floor, and then comes up and it's Gengar.
And you see finally him fight Lance.
Yeah. And that's where Lance says, show me what you got.
He brings out his Dragonite, of course, his signature Pokemon, and Blue brings out Blastoise, which is interesting because Red chose Bulbasaur. So it would stand to reason that Blue should have
chose Charizard.
Yeah.
Or Charmander.
Yeah, so again, everything is its own canon. Nothing here holds true as complete video game canon, but it's the closest to the video game that we've got yet.
Oh, so it's kind of like the Alola version, because if you play in Sun and Moon, your rival, he's your friend, not a dick. You know, he's a doof, but not a dick. But your rival chooses what's weak to your Pokemon that you choose.
Oh, I didn't realize
in the new
that.
game. So maybe it has something to do with that.
Oh. At the end, Red comes in to face him.
Oh my God, this was kind of heartbreaking. This is a moment where I felt bad for Blue because he finally achieved what he wanted to do. He wanted power. He wanted to win the Pokemon League. He didn't give a shit about the Dex. That was Red's job. You know, he just wanted the power. He wanted to be in charge, and he finally did it. And finally, he's like, "All right, Red, come on, let's see. Let's see what you got."
He didn't say "come on." He said, "Hurry up and come."
Yeah, in my mouth,
quote unquote. The line was, "Hurry up and come."
They knew what they were doing. They totally knew what they were doing. This is for adults. Remember, we didn't know it was NSFW. But I feel bad because we all know what happens. Red overcomes on Blue and takes the title from him. And he has such a very short-lived championship.
Do we know that happens?
Well, I mean, you either do that or you don't progress in the game.
That's true. But how does it play out in canon?
Red's the best. That's how it plays out in canon.
Red probably beat Blue. So episode 4, The Lake of Rage.
Oh, this is where I start to know things.
On to Johto.
Lake in. Red Gyarados.
So, this starts with Lance.
Wait, Lance?
Yeah, Lance.
Oh, yeah, Lance.
Lance, the champion of the Elite Four, knocking on a door in like the back of a storefront and breaking into the Team Rocket headquarters with his Dragonite.
With Dragonite. Who, this is where I finally was like, oh, all right, okay, Dragonite's pretty BA.
Because in the game, you run into Lance when you infiltrate the Team Rocket hideout in Gold and Silver.
Right, this door that he's knocking on.
You keep running into him as he's also doing the same thing. Mm-hmm. And there's a little flashback, and he's like, I'm here because there's something that was fucking with the red shiny Gyarados in the Lake of Rage that was making
causing him to do something weird.
He was flipping out and just shooting at everybody, so I'm trying to figure out, and I feel like it's Team Rocket putting out this radio signal.
And then he's all like, but, you know, it's weird because I haven't figured it out yet, but the Gyarados is like moved on or something, and really like Red's like, I caught him.
Well, Red wasn't... Red wasn't actually there, but Gold shows up, and you just see him.
I'm sorry.
There's shadows over his face.
Right. So, like, it almost shows Lance doing the thing, and then you're just, like, slinking behind him stealthily.
Well, Lance is, like, running, and he runs by this, like, Persian statue, and its eyes light up, and it's actually, like, a tracking system.
Oh, yeah.
And Team Rocket's there in the surveillance room like, we got an intruder.
Oh, God. And then they're like, there's another one.
And you see Gold with shadows over his face. And that's all we get of Gold, at least here.
Yeah, and I gotta say, being the first game I started to play, I do remember this. I do remember Lance being there, but I remember that Gold was the one that, like, defeated all the Rocket members, and Gold was the one that stopped the whole thing, and then Lance was there.
Lance did a lot, too, behind the scenes. It was heavily...
But this is cool, showing what Lance did and making it seem like Gold didn't do so much. He just showed up when it was all finished.
You're right.
And you're like, no. I remember doing a shit ton of stuff.
To be fair,
as the protagonist.
To be fair, that's the point. Is to you, it looked like Lance didn't do that much. Well, this was what was going on.
Yeah, this is how much Lance actually did, and Lance didn't know that you did that much.
Yeah.
Oh my God! This is what is called world building, people.
And just the little small details, watching them fight the Rocket grunts with their Raticates and Mucks.
Oh my God. And just the jokey, hackney fucking, the way that they had the Rocket grunts just making the same animation motions, like back and forth, like they were just slinking around. Like,
well, they were walking. I think that's
wonky walking, yeah.
You're right. I think that's very much amplified in the Japanese depiction of like gang members doing that like gangster walk down the street.
Or trying to, and they're just like fucking pathetic in the real world, but...
So they break in and they see that like a bunch of electrodes are running the place, and they break them out. And then who is it? What's his name? Pietroff or something? One of the Rocket executives, Petrol, because there's 4 executives.
Oh, Petrol Oil.
The one with the purple mohawk, who I posit Matthew Lillard should play in the live action.
Ah, yes. Wait, there is going to be a live action thing, right?
I hope so.
I really hope so. They finally need to do a good one.
Well, they're doing a live action Detective Pikachu.
I remember that. And that's cool and all, but like, make the movie for the fans.
So they break the electrodes out and they like electrocute him. They foil the whole plan, and at the end you see Lance at the Lake of Rage at dusk watching the Gyarados, who's now just peacefully like, yeah, this is my lake. Oh yeah, this is my lake. Yeah.
He's just being super peaceful.
Yeah, he's just like, yeah, I'm in my element.
I'm in my element.
Literally.
And then Gold's like, if only I decided to use the Ultra Ball. I might have had him this time.
No, the second that Lance leaves, he's like, finally, things are restored to peace. This Gyarados is chilling. He ain't pissed. I can go back to the Indigo Plateau. And
that's when Gold...
And then Gold shows up. He just runs up and he's like, go! Rhydon!
Rhydon, go. You could stand on water, right?
Just Barrage just starts assaulting the fucking Gyarados.
Why wouldn't he use Pikachu at this point? He's using the Rhydon in the middle of a lake.
You're right. Rhydon was a bad choice. I was just trying to think of a badass Pokemon off the top of my head, and
and I'm sorry that I like ruined you for that.
I'm a Gen 1er, so I went to like Safari Zone.
But
Rhydon.
in reality, what Craig did was like, go Togetic.
Yeah, you're right though.
That's what Craig did.
Gyarados
just used confusion and psychic.
Water flying. So yeah, you definitely want to use an electric Pokemon against that.
Yeah, well, I used a psychic Pokemon. It's the same thing. But
electric is 4 times.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to catch it, not knock it out.
Oh, okay.
So I use psychic. For now, everything is at peace in Johto.
Well, at least at the Lake of Rage.
At least there. So, episode 5 comes in, titled Legacy, and we get Inspector the Looker. Inspector the Looker is what I'm going to call him.
Looker's back. Also, I want to note, too, it's interesting because in the game, Looker very clearly speaks with, like, broken English, as if English isn't his first language, basically.
Right. Which is funny because I just always assumed they were speaking their native language and it was just translated for whoever was playing the game.
Exactly. Well, it's Japanese in Japan.
Right.
I don't know if Looker does the same thing in Japan. Like, maybe that was just in the English translation. I don't know.
Maybe it was just poor translation on the English side.
But either way, in this, he's like totally just like a badass who talks normal.
Yeah, I am normal.
But it is the way that he talks in the games, the way that he talks being slightly different.
Yeah, okay.
Like that, kind of. He's like, thank you for to coming. You know, like that type of like broken English where like you know how to speak English, but you mix up the grammatical conventions and stuff.
Yeah. Plenty of English first speaking people make those mistakes.
And basically he cuts off Silver, your rival in Gold and Silver, as
so he's like, hey, rival of Gold.
As he's heading up to Indigo Plateau.
To face the Elite Four.
And I love the way Indigo Plateau looks. Again, just like the inside, when you see the Elite Four, all their like battle chambers, Indigo Plateau looks just like it does in the games, but beautiful, lavish, and lush without really taking that much artistic license to deviate from the game. It's beautiful. I love it.
I do too. And it's basically just this discussion he's having because we find out that Silver is in fact Giovanni's child.
That was a long-running fan theory up until the DLC that I previously mentioned.
Oh, so that came out and solidified it?
It was all but confirmed. Like, it was a fan theory in the sense that it was left up in the air in the game, but it was very heavily implied. And that DLC officially confirmed that Giovanni was Silver's father.
And it makes you respect Silver much more than respect Blue. For sure. I think.
Yeah, which is weird because in the games, when he
was still a whiny bitch.
Blue comes off as a dick. He's just a dick. He's like he's your rival, but he's not like evil. He's just a fucking asshole hipster.
Right. He's just a dick.
But Silver comes off as fucking evil.
Yeah.
Which I guess makes sense because he's raised by Giovanni, but this animation depicts him...
Oh, he does not like daddy. There's a running theme with antagonists here, and it's daddy issues.
Yeah, that's also a running theme in...
For your convenience, the preceding 45 minutes has been edited out due to redundancy.
Star Wars, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Steven Spielberg movies, animated Disney classics.
Yeah.
And I think that about covers it.
Are you sure? There's not more?
Oh, and Coheed and Cambria.
What?
Hip-hop music.
Can we move on, please? It's been something like 40 minutes or some shit.
So Looker interrogates Silver about his father's activities. He's like, yeah, we stopped him at the radio heist, which is something that you foil also as gold. And Looker is now taking the credit. Lance takes the credit for the Team Rocket hideout.
Okay. Yeah, even
victory.
though it was gold.
And now Looker is taking the credit for Gold's victory over the Team Rocket heist of the radio tower.
Oh, jeez. Really? Come on, man.
Yeah, and like you said, Silver is just like, we flash back, and when Giovanni's leaving, Silver's like, what the fuck, you get beaten by 2 kids?
Yeah.
You're just fucking leaving?
Silver says he hasn't seen his father in 3 years, which is how long Giovanni's been missing at this point. So we know that with the events of Pokemon Gold and Silver are 3 years after Pokemon Red and Blue.
We already knew that. It's
oh,
also,
shit.
See,
okay.
Basically, Pokemon Red and Blue and Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire take place at the same time.
Weird.
And Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver and Gold and Silver, because they're the same, and Pokemon Diamond and Pearl take place at the same time.
Oh, so wait, they alternate, like,
it's
so it goes timeline, reverse to a different area, timeline.
It's because this is what happened. Red and Blue came out, and then 3 years later, Gold and Silver came out. So Gold and Silver takes place 3 years after Red and Blue. Then Ruby and Sapphire came out. Then 3 years later, or whatever, Diamond and Pearl came out. Then a remake of Heart Gold and Soul Silver came out right around the time Diamond and Pearl came out. So it was supposed to be compatible with Diamond and Pearl. So because it was a remake of Gold and Silver, they're like, okay, well, Diamond and Pearl takes place at the same time as Gold and Silver, 3 years after Red and Blue.
Is it important to play Diamond and Pearl? Because that's a series I didn't get yet. Because
in
it's
the remake
expensive.
of Ruby and Sapphire was also when Fire Red and Leaf Green came out to finish the thing.
Okay.
So that was why
around
those
the
ones
same
take
times.
place at the same time. They're all important to play, man.
They're all important to
They're
play.
all great regions. They're all great stories. I think the stories actually get better as they go on, but Red and Blue will still always be my favorite.
It's just like I can't find a copy of Diamond or Pearl for less than $40.
Wow, really? I'll let you borrow one, man. Let me just transfer my Pokemon off it. I'll let you fucking start a new game.
So anyways,
so he's just like, his dad's like, you'll understand sooner or later. And he's like, I don't want to fucking understand. Fuck you.
yeah, you're
Fuck
weak.
Team Rocket. Suck
Fuck
my
Team
dick,
Rocket.
Dad.
You're trying to tell me you were strong by being weak individually but having a lot of people follow you? I'm not going to play that. You failed, Dad. You suck, Dad.
Yeah.
I'm going to be strong by myself.
He's like, Giovanni's like, I realize now that I need to be alone in order to build a new team of...
No, fuck you, Dad. That was my idea.
Yeah, but when I say I just need to be alone, okay. Yeah, it was interesting, though. You see, it establishes that Silver, and I did get that sense in Gold and Silver, that Silver wasn't associated with Team Rocket, but that he was clearly evil. And I guess that's my take on Silver, judging from this and the video games and what little I know about him in the manga, is that he's probably fucked up because he was raised by Giovanni, but he's probably a good enough person to know that what Giovanni wanted to do was wrong.
Yeah.
But because he was raised by Giovanni, he can't help that he's still kind of fucked up.
Yeah, right. So that's it. And he's like, oh, okay, well, word. Well, you have yourself a good time. Just, if your dad reaches out to you, contact me, all right? And the guy's like, dude, like, I'm over that part of my life already. It's like so last month.
Yeah, he's like, maybe, but I kind of chose to stay out of my dad's affairs, and
yeah.
I feel like he's doing the same thing.
Yeah, so you know what? that's your job anyways, so go fuck yourself.
But by the way, if you have time to listen to this mixtape that I made,
It's fire, bro.
Yeah, it's fire. If you want to listen to it, I got my email addresses written on it and my cell phone number. So if you want to just give me a call, there's my friend code.
Dare I say it's fire red.
And Looker's like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I'll definitely listen to that. And he takes it and puts it in his trench coat pocket. And there's a moment of awkward silence. And Silver's like, so we just asked for like a $5 donation.
Dude. But like, you gave this to me. Yeah, I know, but like, it's like a, karma, brah. No. But
Looker hands over the $5, and then later he goes back to his hotel room and he listens to it, and it's just like, Omanite, Muck, Dugtrio, Diglett.
Just the Pokemon rap. That was really Silver all along. No. That didn't happen in this episode. What really happened is he tells him off and is like, that's your job anyways. I'm staying out of this shit. Don't bother me again. And Looker just like has this incredulous smile on his face, like, kids, whatever. But in reality, if this was real, what would have happened? He's like, what the fuck did you say, punk? No. You're interfering with police investigation. Put your hands behind your back. And he slams him on the ground. And he's like, oh, where did this cocaine come from? And, he planted it on him.
That is really funny. I thought the same thing, too, that he's just, because when he goes to fight the Elite Four, Looker gives him that knowing smile. Like, he's like, it's behind his back.
Beat you.
But he's like, there goes that kid chasing his dreams. Go get him.
No,
reach for the stars.
Reality
Silver.
Be like, do not interfere with a police investigation.
Right? A cop seeking out the child of a known powerful criminal underground leader.
Yeah, no. You're our new informant.
Yeah.
Or
you
can go to jail for this cocaine I found on you.
For this herbal medicine.
Listen, there's been some illegal energy route runnings around. So, what's this? Rare candies you got?
Where'd this missing no come from?
Do you want to glitch out entire society?
Where'd this apostrophe come from?
That's where it came from.
All right, so the 6th and final episode for this episode of Silph Radio.
Oh, super ancillary detail here.
The Reawakening.
The Burning Tower.
This episode follows...
So who is this guy? Is he part of the game?
Eusine. He was in Crystal. There's Gold,
that's why
Silver, and then Crystal was the third game.
Yeah.
And his deal was basically he's like this hyper-obsessive furry. Excuse me. That's extrapolation on my part. He's obsessed with Suicune. He draws fan art, puts it on DeviantArt.
And Suicune is one of the legendary dogs, right? It's Raikou.
Officially, they're legendary beasts.
Suicune, they're dogs.
The fans originally...
Unofficially, they're dogs.
A little, because you weren't playing back then. Backstory for that. They were originally just a trio without an official name in the game. And fans sort of referred to them as the 3 legendary dogs, because the 3 legendary birds were in the first one.
Right.
But they're both canine and feline in their appearance. Yeah, dude. Totally. 100%.
I think both. There's when you say feline, you're probably seeing more tiger like.
You're saying that now, but if I showed you a picture of them in front of you as I said this, you would be like, "Oh, yeah, I see it now." They're like 50-50.
I could actually see a cat, like a saber-toothed tiger type thing out of Raikou. Yeah. At least. So
I mean, Suicune looks the most dog-like out of all 3 of them. But like, look at Entei and Raikou.
Suicune, doesn't Suicune have like antlers?
Yeah.
The most dog-like of them all.
And what's this dude's name? Eusine, which is a anagram of Suicune.
Oh, ooh.
Is obsessed with Suicune. He saw Suicune as a kid or something.
Good job. Did you figure that one out?
Fap. I have to find Suicune.
Oh, so he changed his name to an anagram of Suicune. His originally name was Billy.
Yeah, that was his online handle.
His online handle was Suicune 696969.
That was his Pornhub account name.
He didn't have a Pornhub account. This was before Pornhub.
Yeah, they don't allow bestiality on Pornhub. So.
Yeah, that was more of a dark net.
He was like, it just doesn't do it for me. He's like, Pornhub, I might as well go to YouTube, guys.
All right, we're getting a little too.
This though basically is
carried
just
away.
Eusine kind of telling the story of the 3 legendary beasts and
the burning tower and what happened. Like 3 unknown creatures were trapped in there and died.
they were Pokemon. We know they were Pokemon. But
Okay, I guess 3 unknown Pokemon.
yeah, he refers to them as nameless. And there's
I kind of assumed that they were, if not evolutions of Eevees.
that's what most people believe because of the relationship to Jolteon, Flareon, and Vaporeon.
Yeah,
and
right.
the Eevees are kind of based on foxes and cats and kind of a little bit dogs, but they're more like fox cat buddy.
I mean, foxes are canine creatures at least, but I would say fox mostly, but there is some cat.
I love
in there.
Eevees. They're just like their own
The
thing. I love
cuteness
it.
factor comes from the cat, I guess.
And it's interesting. Like we see ancient Johto, which was like feudal Japan.
Yeah, because of all the kimonos and stuff.
It's so cool. God, I love it. The animation is beautiful. The depiction of the world is perfect.
So basically, the Pokemon were trapped in there. The rain comes. Ho-Oh graces us with its presence, winks at some dead animals, and they become the 3 legendary beasts.
Because the tower burns down and they
Right,
die
right.
in the fire.
Right. And then the people are like, what? They're supposed to be dead. They're supposed to be dead. And then they start hating
They
on
don't
them.
trust it, and they they must be like, they're
Unified
demons. They're
death.
demons.
It's gotta be bad. It's gotta be evil. And so these 3 Pokemon lose their faith in humanity, basically, or get all emo and leave. They're like, I'm gonna disappear, okay?
Run away and live on my own.
And it's told that they will come back when they start
I'm
to
gonna go
trust
follow
humans again.
sleeping with sirens.
Yeah, good luck
on
with
tour,
that,
on the road.
When they can trust humans again, yeah, good luck with that. Have you seen a president?
Yeah, it was cool though. It was a really great episode.
Yes.
And
it was different. It was actually, I feel like it was a different animation style as well. Slightly different than when it has been.
Again though, all of these are just little bites, little tidbits, and
tiny peeks into the world that is Pokemon that we've all been clamoring for.
I want to see more. Stretch it
I
out.
want to see more.
Start at Pallet Town. Make season 1 Red's aspirations and journey on the way to defeat Brock.
That would be cool. That would be cool.
Brock
if
and
you
Misty.
want to do that,
Make it Brock and Misty because those are the people that everybody knows. So it would be iconic. You know what I mean?
that would be great. And I would love to make this an actual real series with full-length episodes. But if you're going to continue, even if you're going to just continue doing what you're doing, it'd be great if you were to now loop back around and start maybe a season 2 of 18 more episodes that delve into another aspect of each game's tiny little world.
I'm not
I'd
going
be
to say
okay
no.
with that. I'd be at that, but that's the bottom line least I will accept. You at least come back with a season 2 or make these into
We want
bigger
more.
things. We want
Another Pokemon Origins, whatever it is, give us more.
Pokemon Origins was great, but I still wish I got to see more of what happened when they did during the break. This all happened.
Yeah, give us more.
Give us more.
The bottom line is give us more anime that isn't for toddlers, please, Pokemon Company.
Please, because the anime that's for toddlers, you don't even have to stop doing it. Because, like you had said, you go of 2 ways. You stop doing the stuff, or you get weird and you write your fan fiction. That was a joke and all. But in reality, if you have both of these going simultaneously, people can switch seamlessly almost from the toddler anime to the more adult themed anime.
And also, no disrespect if you follow the anime. I mean, Brianna loves the fucking anime.
Yeah,
that's cool.
It's nothing against. No, I mean, you like what you like.
You can like
Who
stuff
cares?
for children. There's no shame in
I
something.
like tons of stuff for children.
There's
I mean,
no
I
shame
am a
in
child.
Yeah.
I'm a man thing child.
There's no shame in something being for children. It's just, it's cool to give the adult fans something too.
So
we hope that you enjoyed Pokemon Generations, and we hope that you enjoyed this, and we hope that you will let the Pokemon Company know that you enjoyed Pokemon Generations, and that you will let us know that you enjoyed this.
yeah, storm them. I mean, once you're done writing letters to your Senate and Congress about whatever thing's going on today and in today's society, I know I make jokes about that, but that's actually serious. If you have an issue, please write your senators and congressmen. But anyways, when you're done with that, write to them again and be like, tell Game Freak to get on their shit. Okay, and bring out more Pokemon, please. More Pokemon anime, please.
Please.
Yeah,
Trump.
you know what? You want to get me on your side. This is what you do. Okay? You want to make deals with China, make deals with Japan. Help get Fukushima shut down. Please.
Hey, when you're done harassing all your local senators and the Pokemon Company, harass us. Silph Radio
Oh,
Podcast.
yeah, we actually appreciate that.
Look us up on Facebook. Like the page, please. We need more likes. We really need to make our presence more well-known on the internet. You want to know something? You want to know a secret?
What?
Before we came along, there weren't that many Pokemon podcasts.
Now there's a ton of Pokemon podcasts.
And I'm not saying that it's intentional, but we were one of, if not the first Pokemon podcast to use the suffix a Pokemon podcast. And
yeah,
now,
because I remember it was original. I remember when you were like, you told me about it, I was like, that's an original idea.
yeah, and now you search for a Pokemon podcast and we don't even come up because so many people have either co-opted or just happen to laterally come along the same idea. So we need your help. Like the Facebook page, share our posts, like our posts, whatever little tiny bit you can do.
Whatever you can do.
To just help push the brand. We need more brand awareness. We need people to know about Silph Radio.
Absolutely.
Secret Room Multimedia.
Absolutely.
Fairpoint Podcast.
Absolutely.
Fair Enough Podcast.
Oh, hell yeah.
All of the music that we're putting out and the upcoming projects, which you'll be hearing about soon.
Absolutely. And also, previous guest on Silph Radio, Andrew Spawn, had both of us on his podcast called Amusement Sparks.
It was fucking awesome. So much fun.
It was flippin' awesome. I'm still trying to be in like the whole non-sweary mode. I know I swore the whole podcast.
It's
here,
a family-friendly podcast, and I f***ed that all up.
Yeah, but it was kind of funny. You know how many times he like censored me? None.
He censored me a lot.
Just, you know what? You know, freedom of speech is cool and all, but sometimes you just need to censor it.
Thank you, President Trump.
Thank you. You're the one with the facts. Yeah.
Thank you, Andrew, for having us on. You probably heard him a couple episodes ago on the Workshopping a Pokemon MMO episode.
Which was very entertaining.
On Amusement Sparks, they imaginatively design a theme park based around a different franchise, and they did do a Pokemon episode, but that's not the episode that me and Craig are on. We talked about a Batman theme park.
Oh, it was so glorious and fun, and like I wish that could be work because that was not work at all.
What was it, episode 4 or episode 5?
5.
Episode 5. Episode 5, Gotham City, Batman's World, featuring Craig Lewis and Nathan Kappesser of Secret Room Multimedia. Go check it out. Check out the other shows, like our Facebook page, and please help us out with ratings on iTunes.
My only regret is that we didn't come up with a better name for the theme park.
I like, fuck you, that was my name for the theme park.
Yeah, and it was very lazy and right off the top of your head. There, I said it. Sorry.
I don't know, let us know if you have a better name for the theme park.
Oh, don't worry. I'll have a better one next time we're on Amusement Sparks.
Hey, from the Secret Room, I'm Nathan K.
And I'm Craig Lewis. And go, Pikachu, go.
From my generation to your generation.
So, like, from
something.
red to sun.
Have a good week, and we'll talk to you next time.